Am I muted? Okay. Hi, my name's Aaron Hicks, and I'll be conducting the Ladder Safety Systems webinar today on behalf for French Creek Production and National Stand Down Day. Welcome. I see there's a few of you out there. If you have questions as we're going along, feel free to type your questions in. Michael is behind the camera producing today, and he will let me know and we can cover whatever you need. Please don't wait till the end. The more interactive this is, the more entertaining it is for me. So we go ahead and get started with ladder safety systems. So understanding the fixed ladder requirements is well, Michael, could you make that a little bigger?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Having a little trouble seeing here. Okay, there we go. So personal fall protection systems must be installed in any new fixed ladder that's 24 feet or taller, put in place after November 19th, 2018. Fixed ladders that have cages before that, they could still keep them on there, but you're given 20 years to install new systems. So what happened is that in 2018, OSHA came out and said all ladders 24 feet or higher have to have fall protection on them, and that fall protection is no longer a cage. It has to be a personal fall arrest system. We offer several systems. We offer rail, in aluminum and stainless. We also offer cable systems in galvanized and stainless steel. We also do some random things where we put an anchor on there and put an SRL for shorter ladders. Again, the standard calls out 24 feet. We obviously, as a fall protection company, realize that debilitating injuries start about 4 feet. General industry calls for 4 feet. Construction calls for 6 feet. So even though they're calling out a 24 foot, we do recommend having them under 24 feet. Let's be honest, if you fall from 23 feet, it's still going to hurt. So getting back to the standard, can we back up one, Michael? Sorry. So that from 2018 was on any new, and again, you have till 2036 or 2038 to put on any new ladders, or so anyone that are existing, you have till 2036 to update them. Now, anytime that you replace any part of the fixed ladder, even paint it, to our understanding, any maintenance done to that ladder whatsoever, then you have to go ahead and equip the ladder with a ladder safety system. Again, after November 36, all fixed ladders 24 feet and over have to be retrofitted. This has caused a great deal of sales in our industry for people that are retrofitting and installing new ladders. So some of the places that we don't always think of are, for putting these in are shopping plazas, Home Depots, Lowe's, the gas station down in the corner. All these buildings are 30, 35 feet high, and almost all of them have HVAC on the roof. You have to go out and do maintenance. They're all flat roofs typically. Have to go out and make sure the drainage is working properly. So these are all opportunities to make sure that you have ladders in place, and we don't always think of. Other places where ladder safety systems are going to be required are going to be manufacturing plants, mezzanine levels, access to machineries, warehouses. Oil and gas are huge, all oil derricks, offshore platforms, telecom towers, wastewater treatment plants. Obviously, there are construction sites, commercial buildings, but silos and farm and agriculture is one that I didn't think of for quite some time. But again, it's a fixed ladder over 24 feet. And if it's a commercial farm, then it needs to have fall protection on there. Municipalities with, wastewater tanks, filtration system, elevated walkways. There's ladders everywhere we look. One of the things that I've been really telling our sales team is universities. Every university, well, not every, but most universities have a theater, a gymnasium, maintenance on roofs. Again, these all have ladder systems or have ladders and are going to be in need of personal fall arrest systems. Assessing the site, just kind of, it's pretty easy. Take note of ladders that are on the job site or in the work area. A lot of people are still unaware of this updated standard. People that, that manage the Lowe's, that have the gas station, they may not be aware of it. They're not using fall protection on a daily basis, so it might not occur to them. So education is a big part of this updated standard. We like to emphasize that the outdated ladder cages are not safe. They don't have to come off, but just using a cage, it does two things for you. Basically, it's going to tell you where you're going to fall, and it's going to beat you up on the way down. Ladder cages are not inherently safe. So French Creek offers cable and rail systems, as I mentioned. Again, stainless steel and aluminum for the rail, galvanized stainless for the cable systems. The cable system utilizes a steel lifeline and a cable grab that runs from the top of the rung down to the bottom. Connects the bottom end is where the tension is. All the forces are generated through the top of the system. Whereas the rail system starts about 3 feet off the ground and typically ends 6 to 12 inches above the top rung. It can be extended past the top rung further than that if you're using a side step platform. When using the rail system, you connect with a trolley. It moves up and down with you as you climb, and is typically a fairly smooth climb. The cable system has a little more flex in it, so it can be a little more challenging, I think, at times to climb, but both are very safe systems. The cable system, again, it has a top bracket. That's where your forces are typically generated. Here we're showing it on an FRP ladder. We don't typically recommend it on that type of ladder, but it was a good photo opportunity. The bottom bracket, again, has the tensioner on it. Has 3/8 galvanized wire rope, typically, unless you're using the stainless system. We provide you with the appropriate amount of cable guides. I believe we start about 30 feet, get them in the every 30 to 40 feet range. And what that does is just keeps the cable in place when not in use. The standard does say that you have to be able to traverse through that cable grab in a hands-free manner, which ours does. And then in the middle of the picture, at the bottom, you'll see our cable grab. It's a standard 3/8 stainless steel cable grab with a small shock absorber and a carabiner. Advantages to cable system: it's a time-tested, very safe ladder system. Good mobility, especially when you're working in the middle of a fixed ladder. Initial costs can be a little bit lower, especially when you're looking at very long lengths, because you always have the top and bottom. The only difference is you're paying for a little bit of cable, which is one of the lesser expensive portions of that. It's a very easy installation, 2 mounting brackets. The top connects to the top 3 rungs. The bottom connects to the bottom 2 rungs. It's a very simple. Any competent maintenance man with a ratchet would have that put up in a very short time span. Disadvantages to the cable system is the lifeline can wear over time. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I've been in the industry for about 30 years, 16 at French Creek, and then 2 previous careers. I've never seen the cable lifeline wear out from typical use. If the well lifeline does wear and needs to be replaced, it's typically from it not being in its cable and it's damaged through wind beating against the building. Somebody clips it with a tow motor or things like that. Another disadvantage is multiple standoffs. If I have to climb up a 25-foot ladder, get off on a platform, and go up another 25 feet, most of your costs being in your brackets, is typically quite expensive. So in that case, multiple standoffs, we would probably recommend rail. And then potable water. We do offer a stainless steel version, but it's typically 18.8 or 304 stainless, which does not meet standards for potable water, which calls out a 3/16 stainless steel. The rigid rail system or track system is secured to a fixed ladder, typically every 4.5 to 6 feet. The trolley travels with the worker as they ascend or descend, and immediately locking up in case there's a fall. The system, the rail system components, the rail is typically, again, I've mentioned that it's aluminum, which we can have anodized or a non-anodized, which is just a mill finish. The anodization process doesn't really strengthen it or add any additional corrosion wear. It just makes it look a bit more uniform in its finish. But we do sell mainly anodized. The stainless steel, again, it's the most expensive option we have in all of our ladder systems. But again, it's a 3/16 stainless and meets all the potable water standards. Also good in the food service industry. Can we back up? Sorry. The trolley, we have 2 versions. We have one for aluminum and one for that will work on the stainless steel and the aluminum. They're both an aluminum bodied anodized, anodized aluminum. Rung clamps, those are the portion that fits around the rung clamp and bolts to the rail itself. And then there's a splice channel. Typically with aluminum rail, it comes in 20-foot sections. And this just helps the transition of the trolley as we're going from piece to piece, and also strengthens the entire system. The stainless steel system comes in 8-foot sections and a splice every 8 feet. Advantages to the rail. The stability, just having it rigid, reduces any risks of accidents. It's anywhere we're dealing with outdoor settings, high winds, bad weather. Again, this is a very simple system to install. I would say any competent maintenance man can install it very simply. I've installed several of these systems myself. And I am not a competent maintenance man. I'll be very honest with you. So if I can do it, pretty much anybody can do it. So working inside the tanks and hatches, the rail system is more advantageous because it allows a hatch to open or close. And we have options for you to traverse outside of the hatch. Whereas the cable system has to stick up, so it sticks up approximately 42 inches above the top rung, so it can keep your hatch from closing. Again, we offer the stainless and for potable water. The disadvantages are the initial costs are a little more expensive. and longer runs, the cable is a bit cheaper. I'll be very honest with you. If I was climbing even a great length, I like the usability of the rigid rail system. I also like the fact that I can lean back into it, work hands free if necessary. But it just gives me a more secure feeling. As you know, I don't climb every day, so I like having something there that's holding me up where the cable flexes and gives me that queasy roller coastery feeling. Just reviewing some of the cable versus rail systems. Again, we talked about the multiple standoffs. The rail is more effective there. It's also can be used in potable water. The cable systems are kind of the opposite. They're better on longer systems like radio towers, single spans, oil derricks, places where you're climbing a great distance. Unfortunately, that it's not usable for potable water. So we're a little dated on this slide. We forgot to add the A. So how do I transition at the top? There are a lot of different options. So what we tell people typically is if you don't know how to transition off your ladder through a hatch on top of the tank, off onto a platform, take pictures, send them to us, and we can help you decide what best to do. There is always something very simple. We can bolt a D anchor on, welded anchor on, like you see in the picture there. We also have options that clip to the ladder. What you see there on the right-hand side, the clip to the ladder is our AP36. That's a permanently installed. That is a permanent installation of our AP36. We also now offer an AP36-REC, and basically it's a receiver sleeve. So if you were on top of a roof and needed to go down through a hatch onto a ladder, we have a sleeve that would bolt to the ladder. You'd have that same AP36 without the U-bolts in it. Open the ladder, reach in safely, put it into the sleeve, the receiver sleeve. Then you could hook a lanyard or small SRL to the AP36, climb down onto the ladder where you could then hook to your trolley, disconnect from the AP36 and descend down the ladder. We also offer a transition out of a hatch. If I was climbing up, had to go out onto a roof, the the Apex system is a retractable counterbalance post with a continuous action spring. So it's a one-handed, you pull a pin, lift a cam, push it up one-handed while you're safely still connected to the ladder system, holding on to with your other hand. Goes up, you lock it in place with a pin and putting the cam back down. You can then hook to you're then hooked with your lanyard. You can disconnect from the ladder system, traverse through the hatch safely onto the roof. Now, this is a two-person system, or a two-post system, I apologize. Two posts, so you have equal handholds crawling through the hatch. It also provides two anchor points. If I was transitioning from the ladder onto the roof and I became incapacitated, the other post could be used for a rescue anchor point. One of the things that I like about this system is it's just the ease of use. It's a 5,000-pound anchor point that meets or exceeds all ocean ANSI requirements for anchors and ladder posts. Some of our competitors out there have a grab post that's not an anchor. We used to have an anchor that wasn't a grab post. It's been since discontinued and replaced with this, which I feel is a much, much safer system. In order to get you a quote, we can provide you with a rail or cable order form. Basically, it asks you some simple questions. But realistically, what we need is the length of your ladder system for cable. It fits on almost any rung up to 1 1/8 inch round. With the rail system, we do have a few more items we need. We need the size and shape of your ladder rung, the length of your ladder, how you're transitioning at the top. Are we going onto a platform? Are we going through a hatch? Things of that nature. But again, we've developed a form for each of these systems that asks you a few guided questions, and you send that off to us. We can get you a quote within an hour or so. Very quick, very simple. We've had a lot of success with our customers learning the system a little easier, and it's also prevented ordering errors where we give you the wrong size rung clamp or shape or something of that nature. So again, for quoting the rail, measuring your ladder, from the bottom or the ground platform, we recommend going 3 feet up. And then so we'd measure from 3 feet up to the top of the next ladder. We also need to know your ladder spacing, your ladder rung spacing. Typically, most ladders are 12-inch on center for rungs. We do quite a few that are 11-inch on center. We also do a whole lot of odd spacings. So we can accommodate most ladders. This is the next step. One of the most important is making sure that we get you the right size and shape of mounting hardware. Typically, 1 1/4 inch round is our most common, followed by 1 inch and 3/4. Numbers like 6, 7, 9 rebar. I'm not sure. I know. I know it's typical rebar sizes. A lot of guys are making ladders out of, but we do a lot of half round. We do square. Some angle iron. Diamond number 5 is very popular, and we do even get some Supermans. But there's a lot out there that are actually, pre-manufactured ladder rungs that have the anti-slip version. We can customize. We have some custom rung clamps that will fit, and there's very few ladders we can't come up with a solution for. So just let us know the size and shape of your ladder rung. Compatible harnesses, lanyards, and SRLs. Some of our competitors have you using a harness with a sternal D-ring. Our system works best with a waist D. Not that it can't work, but with a sternal, but we recommend a waist D-ring. We find that it gives you a more relaxed, natural climbing position. The trolley travels better when you're at your waist. You don't have to push your chest out away from the ladder to disengage the brake ball and have the trolley move. If you're climbing typically, or if you're connected at your waist, typically you kind of climb and knees bent, your butt's out away from the ladder, and that disengages the brake ball and allows you to traverse up or down in a much more natural position. Lanyards. So lanyards are typically used with a ladder system when you're transitioning from the ladder transitioning from the ladder to wherever you're going to be working, either onto the tank, onto the platform. So we offer a multitude of options, and that'll mainly depend on how you're anchoring. So we have single legs with standard snap hooks, dual legs with stretchable legs, so it's not a trip hazard, that have rebar hooks. And we're also using a lot of the smaller personal SRLs now. So either a single or a dual leg version with or without rebar hooks. But we also offer them in aluminum carabiners, aluminum snaps. So there are a variety of options depending on what you need to transition and what you're anchoring to. Some non fall protection type of devices, ladder safety accessories, we do offer a remote tie-off pole. A lot of times, in especially older tanks, they won't start the ladder until it's about 6 feet off the ground. And how do I go up there, connect to that safely? We've developed a remote tie-off access pole where I could reach up with a pole extension, much like a painter's pole, clip onto the ladder with a snap hook, have a retractable and a tag line connected to that. I could pull that down, hook it to my to my harness, then use a portable ladder to get up the 6 feet and connect to the ladder safety system. We also offer ladder guards, and what this does, as you can see in the picture, is it bolts to the ladder, but it kind of encompasses the ladder to keep non-authorized personnel off of it. Certainly don't want kids climbing up and down a tank free willy. And you know, I know as a kid I would have been up that tank in a second had I had the opportunity.